Okay, so we're gonna be talking about something that just happened in Chicago, kind of been put under the radar a little bit. So Francis W. Parker Charter School, this place, they are having a lot of backlash because a few days ago they were giving quote unquote gay sex education to children ages 14 to 18 in their middle school and discuss lots of inappropriate things and bring in sex toys and talking about like lubricant versus spit and like sex toys, dildos, butt plugs, things like that for minors. And they had a drag queen come in. This dean of students went behind the backs of the parents that pay for the school.
I had like our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students, talking about queer sex, using lube versus using spit.
Meet Joe Bruno, Dean of Students at the prestigious Francis W. Parker Private School in Chicago, which happens to charge $40,000 per student.
They're just like passing around dildos, butt plugs. The kids are just playing with them. They're like, how does this butt plug work? How does this work? That's a really cool part of my job.
Parents might be stunned to learn that Bruno's version of love and acceptance means handing out sex toys to underage students.
So I've been the dean for 4 years. During Pride, we do a Pride Week every year, and I had like our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students, talking about queer sex, using lube versus using spit.
Who is this?
This is an LGBTQ plus health center came in to talk to my high school students. They're just like passing around dildos, butt plugs. The kids are just playing with them. They're looking at them.
In the school?
In a classroom.
Wow.
Yeah. While I'm sitting there. Then we had a drag queen come in, pass out cookies and brownies and do photos.
That's so amazing. And everybody's cool with that, like the butt plugs and the dildos. Nobody complains.
No.
I mean, if the parents found out, would they?
No. It's queer sex. This is the drag queen that came in.
What's her name?
Alexis Bevels.
Alexis Devil.
And just hung out in my classroom.
And was there?
Or hung out in my office.
You have so much freedom, and so much wiggle room.
So much freedom. So much money.
I mean,
To do stuff.
trustees are okay with that too? They don't know.
They would. It's like I wouldn't even run it by them. Like, why would I run it by them? They would be like, oh my god, that's wonderful.
Like,
Yeah.
how old were the kids with the classroom?
14, 18. They're like, how does this butt work? How does this work?
Right.
So yeah, that's a really cool part of my job is I don't have to worry about stuff like that.
Before the whole debate starts about sex education, whatever, yes, teenagers need to have some degree of responsible sex education because once a man can produce, and we're going to be talking about some serious subjects, so keep your fees to yourself. Once men can produce semen, they can impregnate women.
Oh no.
So men need to know the implications of their sexual activity, and women need to understand how their bodies work and how to prevent pregnancy and to protect themselves from STDs and like that. This is all important. But what was going on here was these kids were literally being given demonstrations between the differences between spitting on and lubricating butt plugs.
Yeah, that is unacceptable.
I've already heard some arguments. Well, sex can be used for pleasure. Sure. But let's just step back for a minute. And let's say a 40-year-old man went into a seminar or a room full of 14, 15-year-old kids and said, hey, everybody, I'm going to teach you guys about doggy style today.
Yeah, let's play pretend. Let's pretend that you are a child in class and someone who is 3 times your age, 3 times your age comes in and just gives you a sex toy that you've never seen before. That's not your anatomy.
Like, you can't teach someone about the pleasures of sex. That's something that you discover on your own and with your partner. So if you go somewhere and you're teaching people about things involving sex that have nothing to do with the reproductive, anatomical, biological processes of sex, it isn't sex education anymore. It's something else. And so if somebody's coming in teaching people about dildos and butt plugs and vibrators and various other types of sex toys from the context of teaching them how to pleasure themselves, that is not appropriate sex education for minors. That's not teaching kids sex safety anymore. Yes, you can theoretically hurt yourself with sex toys if you don't use them the right way. But that's very different than teaching someone how to avoid pregnancy. That's very different than teaching someone how to avoid an STD. I think it's cut line teaching kids how to put condoms on, but I'm more willing to accept that as a possibility than teaching someone how to lubricate a butt plug and then demonstrating the differences between spit and lubricant.
Yeah, it's
Those are
disgusting.
different.
No sex education I ever had as a prepubescent teenager involved toys.
Yeah, and the thing is, one of the arguments that I got was, oh, well, in sex-positive countries, they talk about this type of thing, and it's puritanical in the United States, blah, blah, blah. So I asked somebody from one of these sex-positive countries, what do they teach you in sex ed in schools? And look at this, and what do you think about this? And the word that was used by this person from a sex-positive country that went through public education said, horrific. What was taught in this was horrific and that children should not be exposed to this. And in the sex positive school at 13, they're taught how to have sex, the body parts involved, how to protect yourself with condoms, and that is the extent of the sex education. So the argument that this is sex positivity is bullshit. This is pedophilia and grooming, and it's coming from a city in the United States that is rife with pedophiles and establishments that protect them.
And an argument I thought about is if they're trying to normalize the idea of playing with toys in your sex life, guess what? You can't buy a sex toy. You can't go into a sex store until you're over the age of 18 anyway. So how do they expect these young kids to get sex toys unless they are directly involving another adult? Do I have to spell that out for you? That is getting someone who is quote unquote sex positive to buy sex toys for underage children if this narrative is trying to say that sex toys are normal. Toys are not necessary, and I was not taught gay sex when I was young, when I was a teenager. I was taught regular anatomy. But people don't like science anymore. Science is for bigots.
They're saying, okay, use these sex toys to enhance your sexual experience. And the philosophy of it is, well, if you're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, you're going to be fucking around. You're going to be having sexual experiences with people anyway. So you might as well just learn how to do it. I kind of see that rationale. But what you're doing is you're advocating for children to use things they have to go to adults to do, or they have to ask their parents. How many parents have the type of dynamic with their children to where the son or daughter can just walk up and say, hey, Dad, will you go buy me a butt plug?
Right.
It doesn't happen, because then that opens up a whole separate can of worms. Say, why do you need this, son? Why do you need this, daughter? And why are you asking these questions? Who's asking you to use these things? Who's telling you to use these things? What's the next part of the conversation? Well, this like drag queen person from my school came and showed us these like butt plug things and said that they're really good, and like they said that I should try it. And I have to go get this like lubrication stuff too because I'm not supposed to be using spit. Imagine that conversation with your son or daughter. Of course a parent's going to be like, what the fuck? This is not okay. So what is the kid going to do once they hear these things? Well, I really want to try this butt plug thing. Okay, well, who can I find that will buy it for me? Oh, yeah, there's like these 22, 23-year-olds that usually buy us alcohol when we go to parties. Maybe if I tell them I want a butt plug, they'll go buy one at one of those stores for me. And what does that do? And I'm not saying that everybody who buys alcohol for kids is a predator. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that you are opening yourself up to people who are more willing to do illegal things for minors and therefore potentially put them at risk in various ways. What this does is it encourages children to take on more risky behavior than they otherwise would not have.
Right, because it's introducing it to them.
Right, and so arguing that it's sex positive is not a justification for putting children in potentially more danger they would have already been in a society full of predators and sickos anyway. Also, how does someone get a job doing this? How do you get a job saying, I'm a professional that's going to teach children how to lubricate butt plug? Where's the degree in that? So how do you get a degree that qualifies you to talk to children about this type of sexual activity that extends beyond just the basic biology of it?
Oh, and then their whole gaslighting community thing, the letter that they said, Dear Parker community, we are writing to let you know that one of our employees while at a conference last week was targeted by a right-wing fringe group that seeks to undermine and manipulate diversity.
Yeah, you always got to attack the right-wingers, right? It's like anyone who suggests that pedophilia is bad is a right-wing. So what does that say about the left?
Right.
Is it not okay to be a leftist and be opposed to pedophilia?
I'm gay and I don't identify as a right winger, so what does that make me? People be calling me a homophobe.
Yeah, someone literally called her a homophobe talking about this a while ago.
Yeah, I'm audacious and I'm extreme because I want to stand up for the rights of children that can't stand up for themselves. And that's the whole point, right? The children can't stand up for themselves. I personally know that Chicago is known for deleting evidence of pedophilia. Yeah, so this dean bypassed the trustees. He literally said that he didn't need to talk to them about it.
Project Veritas has done a response video to their letter. Parker, so it's on Twitter. So this is what they said. Dear Parker community, at Parker we care deeply about the health, well-being, and development of our students. Our programs are designed to help cultivate not only physical and emotional well-being, but also a strong sense of belonging. This is central to our mission. That's why we're heartbroken to learn one of our colleagues' words have been severely misrepresented for malicious purposes. Project Veritas is a far-right activist group that produces deceptively edited videos of secret recordings in an effort to discredit mainstream media organizations, progressive groups, and educational institutions. This group has now edited this video with malicious intent and launched it publicly. Please, this is in bold. Please know this video contains descriptive language. If you choose to view it, we ask you not to share it because it will add to its viral power. We're sickened by this group's deceptive tactics, their invasion during a People of Color conference, and their attack on the LGBTQ plus community. You know, what gets me about this is the guy that they talked to, who was the dean, is not a person of color. It was a white dude. So, like, why are they using the People of Color thing as like a way to marginalize this dude when he's clearly a man who did this? Why you got to use the race card? And then it's so funny that they bold the please don't share this video because it'll add to its viral power. It's like, we don't want this to go viral. We don't want people to see this. I wonder why not. Maybe because it makes your school look like a bunch of fucking grooming pedophiles. I don't know. Maybe it's not a good look for you. So you're telling people, please don't share this. Well, too late.
Yeah, the school's trying to say now that the trustees were all in agreement with it, but I'm pretty sure that there was outrage at the school by the parents.
They're trying to argue the video was edited. Even if they like cut out the dead space between the questions or whatever, he still said it. It's not like they spliced up his words. Yeah, they completely deleted their Twitter account. It's gone. FW Parker's gone. And they're warning people against descriptive language. Well, wait a minute. If you have a problem with the language and the verbiage being used, maybe your dean shouldn't be talking like that.
Yeah, I know. He just admits that it's descriptive language. Yeah, he's really trying to hide behind the minorities thing. People of color and the LGBTQ community. It's unbelievable.
I've had 2 people resist me in calling this out, but everybody else has been like, this has to stop.
They always go for the same insults, right? Well, you're sounding kind of homophobic right now. To say that you wouldn't accept your child playing with a butt plug and lube in a school when they're 14, you're sounding kind of homophobic. They always go that route. Why is it phobia? I'm not afraid of you.
Interesting. So Francis Parker's school has already gone under fire by protesters because they secretly bought a bunch of private condos nearby. This happened 3 years ago, and the officials wouldn't talk to the media or anybody about it.
Of course.
They bought them under cover of night. Like, they won't tell anybody what they're planning to do with the condos, and they just dodge questions when they're asked. One of the trustees, in their first public comment after this came out, like, this is actually the quote, "I totally care about this. You need to know. You totally need to know. We all care. My issue totally is all facts."
What? None of this makes sense. It's sus. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it too much in this video, maybe in another video, but I know firsthand that there are pedophiles in Chicago, and the force in Chicago covers it up. Long story short, anyone who's listening to this, I was in a relationship with a pedophile for 3 years. I, of course, didn't know he was a pedophile. I was his cover story while he was fucking around with 15-year-old girls behind my back on the internet. And he lived right over there. I discovered that he was a disgusting monster and tried to bring it to the authorities, and the authorities shrugged me off because I'm over 18 and I'm not a victim. That was in Chicago. That is the short story. I know firsthand that the authorities there do not take this seriously.
This is crazy. There's a picture of their principal.
Of course.
He stands behind everything. What's funny is that Elon Musk brought their Project Veritas' account back. It was banned.
Really?
Brought it back. And this is their first bombshell they dropped since they came back. Yeah.
Scientist in residence? Does she live there?
That's a trans.
Oh.
That's their new scientist in residence at that school.
I see they have an everything flag on their MacBook. Oh, hey, she loves NASA, so she loves science, right?
I guess so.
Yeah? Okay, let's talk about science. Let's talk about biology. How do you identify biologically?
You're showing yourself as a woman, but you got hair on your arms.
Women have hairy arms. There was this girl in middle school who got made so fun of because she didn't conform and she didn't shave to her legs or her arms for gym class.
Like, look at my arm hair. Like, no girl's arm hair is ever gonna look like mine.
Have you ever seen an unshaved, naked Puerto Rican?
I guess a checkmate, atheists.
Sorry, that's my gay talking. However, yeah, this is bad. It's really bad. If you are a LGBT person, you should be mad because we're always supposed to think of like, oh, well, what if? Anything that goes against the message. I don't hate anybody who is so mentally ill that they think that they need to be someone else, that their gender dysphoria is just so unbelievably mind-numbing that they feel like they have to do that. However, if you are one of those people, you should be very mad about what's going on here, because if you want to take on the persona of a woman, women protect children. That's a bad look. Looks like a literal clown. Yeehaw. The cupcakes. Cupcakes are poisoned. They were very inclusive. I'm sure they were like so polite. Hey, look, those kids look like they're having a great time. Yeah, they're all smiling, you see. Everyone is smiling. As long as they're smiling, it's okay. This is fine. They're smiling because we brought them cupcakes. Duh. Kids love pretty colors, right? They love fun colors. It's just so fun. She's like a cartoon character, guys. We love cartoons. Miss Frizzle would be irate. Oh, man.
Shit.
Are those gay boys? Do they feel marginalized? Do they need someone who just understands them? Or are they confused children that don't really know what's going on, but they know that they're at that time in their lives where they're starting to feel things differently? You see, son, you're feeling different. And while you're feeling different, you know, you can also feel other things inside of you at the same time. You can make those feelings even better. What if I feel uncomfortable? Well, you only feel uncomfortable right now because this is new for you. It's a new, fun, exciting experience. Freudian slip.
Morgan?
LGBTQ plus books will be available in the library and in classrooms. There will be a drag queen story time in the library after school for junior kindergarten through 5th grade, along with a rainbow themed snack. And there will also be MX programming for everyone.
There'll be decorations throughout the school and even pride-themed desserts in the cafeteria. To help you join in the celebration, a full list of events will be posted throughout the school.
Every day of Pride Week, you can show your support, but you can wear purple or blue. And on Friday, you can show your support by wearing a rainbow of colors.
And to keep your support going, Parker will be participating in Chicago's Gay Pride Parade on Sunday, June 26th. If you are interested in signing up, a notice about how to do that will be coming out real soon. We would love to see you there.
And most important of all, we want this week to be a reminder that if you identify as queer, we hope you feel proud of who you are and feel supported by others here in our Parker community.
And even if you haven't been blessed with a queer identity, we still hope that you'll be an ally and support your friends, peers, colleagues, and acquaintances, no matter what their gender identity or sexual orientation.
Pride should live in all of us.
And all of us.
And all of us.
And all of us.
And all of us.
All of us.
That is so creepy.
A little bit disturbed. Casual disturbance. Probably no big deal, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we have other things to do. Like we're gonna go have smoothies, okay? We can't be talking about this. I don't know. It's history. It's long gone. No one cares. You know, the school deleted their Twitter, so did they ever even exist? Like, you're probably just a conspiracy theorist.
And I'm not a far right-wing extremist for pointing this shit out either.
We shouldn't be judged just because we have an opinion about this. Like, what is an extreme opinion? You can be extreme about your opinion as long as it doesn't go against the message, the narrative. What's the narrative? Oh, the narrative is that minorities are victims all the time. We should let them do whatever heinous shit that they want.
This is something that everyone from every political venue, except for the extreme far left, can get on board with. It's almost like, how do people get themselves into the mindset that it's okay to defend this?
Something shouldn't be defended. And I'm not afraid. It's hard because you can get lost in so many other arguments. Oh, you're just triggered. But you have to remember that humanitarian issues are different than political issues.
For sure.
I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you have a faith. And I'm certainly not afraid of it.
Okay, well, I've got to let this all simmer.
Have any other news on the subject before I stop recording?
No, but this is something that needs to be paid attention to.
Yes.